I'm going to take you to a place not very far from here, and indeed, it is called the Green Ghetto. Mitchell Hosowich was pleased as a puppy with two tails, and he didn't think he had the right. Ever since he started growing this here wacky tobacco shit, he'd been thinking maybe it was time to show a speck of maturity, go legit. Same time, touring his leaning barn, new raw boards mixed with original red, he couldn't help but stroke his horseshoe mustache with satisfaction. Breathing deeply through his nose, so musky it burned. He thought, no sir, not even that so-called comedian was going to slip a cow patty in today's fair trade coffee tin. All week, Sadeo Saffron had been peskier than a real job, phoning, saying, bring more, Mitchell. I can only put them off so long, Mitchell. Mitchell, Mitchell, Mitchell.
What's your quick synopsis? Like, how do you set the book up for people?
Well, when you write a book, everybody tells you gotta be able to say it in one sentence. And so I've kind of got a cheater sentence, and it's crime fiction collides with an urban western when a dope-growing mail-order cowboy gets caught up in the war on terror in post-9/11 Detroit. And, you know, this is a story about somebody who's dropped out, doesn't want to be around people, wants to work his land, be with his animals, which are his best friends. And he's got 59 plants because he thinks that 60's too many. And, you know, people are coming back to the city, and he's wondering how much longer he's gonna be allowed to go on like this, and sure enough, something happens. Way back when, Mitchell didn't know dope from a donkey's dong, only that he was a young man bent on being the lone hand on his own land. His own man. After getting a little cash together, maybe he'd figure out how to put the land to use legally. Maybe. But whenever Mitchell started coming around to that way of thinking, he'd invariably ask himself, what came first, grants or farmers? Regulations, stipulations, connotations. Just like Glenn Campbell sang in Rhinestone Cowboy, there'd be a load of compromising if Mitchell went legit. Forms to fill, conditions to meet, bureaucrat booty to bust, and that wasn't farming either. Besides, if there'd been a good thing about the great American rust out, it was that this part of Detroit had gone rural again, wild. As one scribe so eloquently wrote in the City Journal, it had long ago reverted to prairie so lush that Natural Resources was exporting pheasants to improve the local gene pool.
Given your history in Windsor and Detroit, it's obvious that, to me, that it's a great venue to set a story. Mm-hmm. But outside being from here, what made you choose that as the locale?
In terms of the big picture motivations, I want to set something in the Green Ghetto. It's really an underreported phenomenon. There's very little media work that's been done on it, and every Rust Belt city has at least one Green Ghetto. And so I've always felt that the story is where everybody else is not. And so it was to a certain extent uncharted territory. I wanted to write a Western, and I'm not sure why I want to do that, because I've been by and large an urban dweller. So if I was gonna write a Western, it had to be an urban Western. I've been on a horse once, and it was a traumatic experience for both of us.
So your cast of characters that you pull out of there, like how much of that was they developed on their own, and how much of that was influenced by people that you've met?
It's a combination. There's only really one character that's based on somebody specifically, and it was a very brief encounter I had with a police officer in Toronto in Kensington Market, and it's the character Enid Bruckner.
Yeah.
The DEA that we meet on page 1. Somebody was crossing the street, and she came out and she pointed at the guy and she told him to cross at the crosswalk, and he just kept coming, and she said, "Come on," and she pointed at him and she said, "I told you and I said," and that was taken directly and incorporated into her character. For the rest of them, everybody's informed by other people, you know, to a certain extent. Some of the characters are you know, a combination of a lot of things I've seen, heard, tasted, and smelled. Smoking the butt to the filter, he hired a vet's cab. Knucklehead driver never minding with a bulletproof divider. Mitchell said kindly take him to the Traveler's Choice on Sandwich. Backtracking along Riverside Drive, Mitchell looked across the water to Detroit. Less than a mile of agua separated the two countries, but Mitchell was starting to breathe a little easier. He wasn't out of the honeypot, but he'd managed to put some serious space, a border, between him and those dead DEAs, giving himself a chance. Driving below the Ambassador Bridge, big ugly mess of iron in the sky, sturdy, the cab passed Wally's Baits, a home hardware, like Sadeo said, then a thrift shop, second time around. Arriving at 3665 Sandwich Street, Mitchell doubled the fare, another American 20. But Mitchell couldn't get himself any shut-eye, tossing, turning, and sweating. Hearing thunder, rain pelting the roof, he relaxed a little, believing that a good storm would wash away the footprints, tire impressions, and the blood and sundry incriminating DNA splotching his landscape.